Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS Application Migration Service. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is AWS Application Migration Service? AWS Migration Hub integration with AWS Application Migration Service, migration workflow process, replication settings, network architecture. So in the documentation, Application Migration Service is also referred as MGN for migration. So in this lecture, if I have used MGN, it means I am referring to the same service which I am talking about, AWS Application Migration Service. So what is AWS Application Migration Service? Application Migration Service is a highly automated solution that simplifies the process of rehosting, lift and shift applications to AWS. Application Migration Service streamlines the migration process, making it faster and easier to move applications to the AWS cloud. By automating the migration process, Migration Service helps reduce the overall cost of migrating applications to AWS. Application Migration Service can migrate a large number of servers, including physical, virtual, and cloud-based servers, without compatibility issues or performance disruption. Migration Service replicates the source servers into your AWS account, ensuring smooth transition to the cloud. When you are ready, Migration Service automatically converts and launches your servers on AWS, allowing you to quickly benefit from the advantages of the cloud, such as cost savings, productivity, resilience, and agility. Once your applications are running on AWS, you can leverage AWS services and capabilities to easily re-platform or refactor those applications, making lift and shift a fast route to modernization. So once you have actually lifted and shifted or migrated your application to AWS cloud, you can further modernize by using some other advanced services like Elastic Kubernetes services, or you can use some kind of serverless solution like Lambda and all. So next is AWS Migration Hub integration with Application Migration Service. AWS Application Migration Service works with AWS Migration Hub, which allows you to organize your servers into applications for better management and tracking. With Migration Hub integration, you can track and progress all your migrations at both the server and at the application level, giving you a comprehensive overview of your migration status. AWS Application Migration Service enables you to move servers into multiple AWS regions, which provides flexibility and scalability for your migrated applications. To use Application Migration Service with Migration Hub, you must choose a Migration Hub home region, which serves as the central location for managing your migrations. For convenience, you can access the AWS Migration Hub directly from the AWS Application Migration Service navigation menu, making it easy to switch between the two services. So basically you have Migration Hub, which is the central place to organize plan all your migration activities. So you will see that as an application, but you can access the menu items from both the service. So you can go to the Application Migration Service, and in the navigation menu you will see the Migration Hub also. AWS Application Migration Service supports auto tagging of migrated resources. For example, Amazon EC2 instances or Amazon Machine Images AMIs in Migration Hub. So from the MGN service, you can auto tag, and that will be reflecting in Migration Hub. These resources are automatically tagged with application discovery server IDs when reporting to Migration Hub by the Migration Service, Application Migration Service. If you enable cost allocation tagging, you can view the cost of the AWS resources tagged by Migration Hub in the AWS Cost Explorer service. This tagging is automatic and does not count against your limit of 50 tags per resource, providing valuable cost insights without additional overhead. Okay, now let's see how the migration workflow process looks like. So first, you initialize AWS Application Migration Service in the target region. You install the AWS replication agent on the source server. You wait until the initial synchronization is finished. After installing the agent, you need to wait for the initial synchronization process to complete, and this process performs block level replication from the source server to the replication server in the staging area. Then you launch test instances. Once the initial sync is finished, you can launch target machine in test mode, and this allows you to perform acceptance testing and verify that the migrated environment is functioning correctly. Then you perform acceptance test on the servers. After the test instance is tested successfully, finalize the test and delete the test instance. Then after this, you configure post-launch actions if needed, and then you wait for the cutover window. Confirm that there is no lag. Then you stop all operational services on the source server. Then you launch a cutover instance. Launch the target machine in cutover mode, which initiates the final migration process. Confirm that the cutover instance was launched successfully and then finalize the cutover. And finally, you can archive the source server. So now let's see some replication settings of this whole process from source till the end. What are different settings that are involved in this particular procedure? So first is AWS application migration server. First is replication settings. So you must configure the replication template upon first use of application migration service to determine how data will be replicated from your source servers to AWS. The replication template includes settings such as replication server instance type, Amazon EBS volume type, Amazon EBS encryption, security groups, data routing, and tags. The settings configured in the replication template are automatically passed down to every server you add to your AWS application migration service. The next setting is launch template for AWS application migration service. The launch template allows you to control the way AWS application migration service launches instance in AWS. The default configuration defined in the template will be automatically applied to every newly added server. General launch settings include instance type right sizing, start instance upon launch, copy private IP, transfer server tags, operating system licenses, and boot mode. Okay, next is the default EC2 launch template options. So you choose the target subnet for the test and cutover machines. All the test and cutover machines will be launched in this target subnet. You choose a number of security groups for the test and cutover machines. Upon the target launch, the selected security groups will be attached to the EC2 instances. You choose a default instance type for the test and cutover machines. The instance type chosen in this template will be propagated to the source server's launch template and will be used to launch the target instance. You choose an EBS volume type for the test and cutover machines. The EBS volume type can be chosen from IO1, IO2, GP3, ST1, SC1 volume types. Next setting is you have to have activate post-launch actions. So activating post-launch actions will allow AWS application migration service to install the systems manager SSM agent on your servers. And activating post-launch actions will also allow AWS application migration service to run the post-launch actions on your servers. So basically two steps. One is agent, and then what you want to actions you can write in the post-launch actions. You can write some kind of scripts or some kind of command. The agent will execute on the target instances. So this is to summarize. This is all we have seen. So we start from left side, and we have a corporate data center. And inside that corporate data center, for example, we have a local network wherein we have the disk where the data is stored, and you have machines running. It can be any operating system, and then we install the AWS replication agent on those machines, and those machines will be first transferring the data transfer over TCP 1500 port through SSL TLS, and they will be going to something called as staging area subnet, and this will be consisting of the EC2 instances. We call them replication servers, and they are attached to EBS volumes. So herein all the data gets transferred for the application, and the application operating system information, all these things whatever we want to transfer gets So this get replicated. The whole thing gets replicated. Mainly the data and configuration of your application. So this is part 2. So this is second step. Then after this, we have another subnet for the migrated resources subnet. So these are the different 2 subnets, and here you will create like exact replica of your test and cutover EC2 instances. So this is staging. This is the final that will be coming later upon, right? And then from here, these services will be involved. First, you have application migration service, which is orchestrating all this on your behalf. So it is this agent is also you see this agent is actually connecting here. So you will be configuring information, and that will be reading. This agent will be reading, and you have regional endpoints, which are like EC2, S3. So these are EC2, S3, and EBS. And finally, you have systems manager for post-launch launch actions. So these on the migrated resources, these EC2 instances, this SSM agent, systems manager agent, is actually communicating with here. So any kind of post-launch actions. So this is how a typical network architecture looks like for a AWS application migration service migration workflow.